Hey, Trail over at goHUNT. Today I've got some new equipment that I want to highlight for you from the goHUNT gear shop. It's that time of year when you ought to be digging your bows out of the closet, if you ever put them away, and starting to get those out, starting to fine tune your equipment, starting to practice. Those draw results will start to come back later in the spring. You definitely want to be ready going into the fall of 2022 to make the most of your bow hunts. So I pulled some gear from the goHUNT gear shop. Some of it you probably heard of, maybe some of it you haven't, but these are pieces that I really like. I think if you aren't aware of these products, you ought to give them a look. They definitely are high quality, really cool pieces of equipment that I think are going to make a difference for you. First and foremost, I want to jump in and show you a couple of stabilizers. These are the SHREWD VANTAGE hunting stabilizers made by this company called SHREWD. SHREWD makes really nice stuff. We started carrying them maybe a few months ago, and I wanted to run through and highlight these bars specifically. Like I said, this is the VANTAGE series of stabilizers. It's got some features about it that I really like. This end cap is going to absorb vibration, absorb noise and sound. That's a great feature of this. Each one of these stabilizers is going to come with a couple of 1 ounce weights, so you do get 2 ounces with it. One of the features I like about these bars is that you get a really long screw that goes into the end of these. And the reason I like that is because it gives you the ability to add more weight to it. A lot of the stabilizers that you buy, they come with a very short rod, and you can replace those for the most part, but I love that SHREWD makes a really long one and gives you the ability to add as much weight as you want. So you can see how long this rod is here as I unscrew it. You can add a significant amount of weight to that. These come in different lengths, so you've got a 7, a 9, and a 12-inch option. They also come in a bunch of cool colors. So you've got kind of a sage green, you've got kind of a desert tan color, you've got a great gray colorway, and then obviously the black that I've got here. SHREWD makes really nice stuff. We carry a variety of products of theirs. I'm going to highlight another one here. They also make the Atlas back bar bracket, which we carry in our goHUNT gear shop. Hands down, if you're wanting to shoot a sidebar, back bar on your bow, which a lot of us are nowadays, that's my recommendation for you. That SHREWD Atlas bracket is awesome. So check out these VANTAGE hunting stabilizers. Once again, tons of colors, 3 different length options, carbon fiber, you got the sound dampening technology, you've got that micro diameter, which is great for bucking the wind. If you're looking for a set of stabilizers, I highly recommend these SHREWD VANTAGE stabilizers. All right, the second product I have for you is this little SHREWD Pivot Quick Disconnect. For those of you that aren't sure what a quick disconnect is, what that is it screws in directly to your riser. So if you have the bushing on the front part of your riser, you're just going to screw that in. This piece sits on the end of the riser, and then you've got your stabilizer with a small peg. You have a receiver hole in the quick disconnect. All you're going to do is drop that peg into that hole and a few turns, and you can tighten in your stabilizer. The reason you might want one is because it allows you to very easily remove your front stabilizer. So, you know, if you're hiking, you want to put your bow in your backpack. If you want to pull off your front stabilizer, put it in a bow case, this allows you to do so very easily. So, you know, half turn, you can drop that out. One of the really cool things about this pivot quick disconnect that other quick disconnects do not do is it actually gives you the ability to pivot and move that stabilizer up so that you actually carry your bow with the front stabilizer like a handle. So I'm kind of demonstrate how that works. So if you can imagine, you've got this mounted to the front of your bow in that bushing hole, a few quick turns, and you can pivot your front stabilizer into the up position. So if you can imagine, you've got your riser sitting right here, you've now pivoted this bar forward. It's very easy now to store on your backpack if you're hiking long distances, or like I said, you can tighten that down and even carry your bow now by this front stabilizer like a handle. All right, so this is a great little front quick disconnect, and like I said, other companies make quick disconnects and we carry those in the gear shop. This is the only one that does that pivot feature, which is actually really cool because it allows you to essentially turn your front stabilizer into a handle. And you don't have to remove the whole thing to store it in a bow case or carry on your backpack. One other thing to note about this SHREWD pivot is it does come with a wrist sling. This wrist sling, if you can imagine, it's going to go around your handle, your grip on your bow. You'd put your hand up through it, and that's going to aid you in proper follow through. So this is a really neat little tool. Once again, this is the SHREWD Pivot Quick Disconnect. The next couple of products I have for you are from the same company, which is TRU-BALL. TRU-BALL makes sights, they make releases. They're some of my very favorite releases. My personal release of choice that I've been shooting for a lot of years is a TRU-BALL HT Pro. I really like TRU-BALL products. Every time you buy a TRU-BALL product, you get quality, you get really tight tolerances. They just make phenomenal products. So I grabbed a couple of releases from the gear shop. Each one of these does something that I think is a little bit unique, and it's something that I wanted to highlight today. The first one being the Blade Pro. This is a handheld thumb button release. This trigger is fully adjustable. You can move it forward or back to get a nice fit for your thumb. You can also adjust the angle of the barrel. So if I want to adjust the angle of that to fit better in my hand, you can see how my thumb fits over that. If I want to adjust the angle of that slightly angled back so it fits better under my thumb, I can do so. Trigger travel, tension, fully adjustable. This release is actually really heavy in your hand when you pick it up. It's one of the first things that Neville said when he picked it up earlier. The weight of that in your hand is significant. It's more than other handheld releases. That's something that personally I really like. I like the weight of a release in my hand a little bit heavier. You can imagine as you come to full draw, you find your anchor point. You want some relaxation through this hand. You don't want a lot of tension through your hand. The weight of this release allows your hand to relax, and as you pull through that shot, the weight of a release actually helps. I found that a brass release or a heavy stainless steel release, it's actually my favorite. It feels better in the hand, it just functions better. This TRU-BALL Blade Pro is really easy to load. It has a button here at the back. All you're gonna do is drop that over your D-loop, and as you compress that button, it's locked and loaded, ready to go. You don't have to worry about flipping the hook over and having that compressed. It's really easy to do with one hand at the back of the release. I'm gonna show you how this thing works and looks in your hand as you come to full draw. It's a really nice feel to it. It's a really crisp release, and like I said, tons of adjustability in it. I love the weight of this release in your hand. This is a premium release. If you're looking for a thumb button release, it's gonna last a really long time, packed with features. I would check this out. One final thing to note about that is it does come with a 3-finger and a 4-finger configuration. Already comes in the package, ready to go. I like a 4-finger release. Some people prefer 3 fingers. I love the fact that TRU-BALL is giving the opportunity to shoot either a 3 or 4 finger. You can kind of tailor it for you. Another release that I have is this TRU-BALL X-Tension RT release. This release came out maybe a year or so ago. It is relatively new to us here at the goHUNT Gear Shop. I've been eyeballing this thing ever since it came out. I don't hear a lot about it, you know, out in the forums and that kind of thing, but this is a really neat little release. This is a tension, so you can use it in a pull-through method, or you can use it in a relax method. So as you relax the triggers, it will actually fire, or you can set it so that as you pull through the shot, it will go off. There aren't many options on the market for guys that are battling with target panic. So if you've got issues with hammering the trigger, you know, you're flinching at the shot, this is a really nice training aid. You could hunt with this without any issues whatsoever once you practice with it for a while. So like I said, 2 different modes in this release, a relaxation mode or a pull-through mode. If you decide to shoot it in pull-through mode, you want to set it about 5 pounds over the holding weight at full draw. And what you're going to do is draw your bow with both of your fingers, your thumb and your index finger on these triggers, come to full draw, you relax those 2 and just simply pull through. And as you hit about 5 pounds over that holding weight, this release is going to fire. So this is a really nice little training aid to help you get over target panic. So you don't push a trigger on this. You're simply going to pull through the shot to execute the shot. The other thing that you can do with this release is set it in what they call relax mode. So you can set this up where, again, you depress both the thumb and the index finger portion of this release. You come to full draw, you focus on your aiming point, and as you begin to relax both your thumb and your index finger, this thing is going to fire. Again, no trigger whatsoever. So if you're looking for a release and you're a diehard index finger shooter, this is a really nice option to help you get over anxiety and target panic. Once again, TRU-BALL makes phenomenal stuff. The sears on this release are really sharp. It's a very crisp release. It's very easy to load. You've got a single hook, slip it over a D-loop. It's very quiet. And like I said, I think if you were to practice with this, get really comfortable with it, this would be a really nice hunting release as well. Also, the length is adjustable with the strap. You simply loosen up this portion of it. You can increase or decrease the length of this release in your hand. Once again, not a release that I've heard a ton of talk about, but definitely a model I would suggest to guys that are struggling a little bit with target panic and anxiety. Really, really nice practice option. Like I said, work with it. It'd be a really good option for bow hunting. All right, and the last ones that I wanted to touch on are 3 dozen different arrows. We carry arrows in the goHUNT gear shop. I don't think a lot of people realize that. We don't carry many options that are fully fletched. Mostly what we carry are raw shafts. We're trying to help people get into building their own arrows. I think the satisfaction that you feel and also the advantage of knowing your equipment, you get to fine tune and tailor that to your setup. I think it's worth it. I think you guys should get into building your own arrows for sure. So we do sell raw shafts. We do sell some that are pre-fletched. We don't do any cutting here in the goHUNT gear shop currently. You know, potentially in the future we may, but right now, you know, get yourself a jig, a saw. You know, those are parts and pieces. You're gonna use those for your lifetime. I've been building my own arrows for 20 years. I'm still using the same saw. So it's a good investment to get into. But I did want to highlight 3 different dozen arrows that I think you guys should check out for 2022. The first being a Axis. So Axis arrows from EASTON, very well known. This is the 5mm Axis. This is a really nice arrow, available in 400, 340, 300 spine. This is a nice dozen set of arrows if you're looking to get into building your own arrows. This is an excellent Western big game hunting arrow. The next arrow was released last year by EASTON. This has been a massive hit for them. This is the same Axis arrow, but in a 4mm. So it's a micro version of the Axis 5mm. It's very small. What that's gonna do for you is increase your penetration. It's also gonna buck the wind. I used these all last year. They're a really nice set of arrows. One of the things I really like about this EASTON 4mm long range is the insert-outsert that it comes with. It's one piece. The insert's gonna slide into the end of the arrow. You've got a little piece that sticks out that kind of serves as the outsert. It's one piece. It's really easy to glue in. It's really easy to tune. It's really easy to work with. So I love that feature of these 4mm Axis long range arrows. They do come in 2 different grades. So you have a match grade, which is a tighter tolerance and straightness per dozen. I love these arrows. They've been really, really good for me. I highly recommend them. And then the last dozen set of arrows is gold tip. So the gold tip Pierce arrows. Again, 2 different grades of these. You have the regular Pierce, and then you have the platinum Pierce. The platinum Pierce being the more straight, more consistent arrows per dozen. You know, even this regular dozen of Pierce arrows is a really nice straight set of arrows. You cut those from both ends. I've done so. I've spun them. I've set them up. I have no issue whatsoever, you know, with giving these a full vote of confidence for guys going into the field. These are also available in a 400, a 340, a 300 spine, and then also a 250 for guys that are shooting high poundage or really long draw lengths. I've been using the platinum Pierces for a lot of years. They've been really good for me. Once again, a micro diameter, so small diameter arrow. Really good for bucking the wind, great for penetration. These arrows have a little insert-outsert system. So you've got an insert that goes into the end of the arrow that you glue in. It has this little gold piece that then slips over that insert, and then you screw on your field tip or your broadhead. It's a really nice system, works easy, it's really easy to work with on your own at home. So these are 3 sets of arrows that I would highly recommend from the goHUNT gear shop. Again, you know, we carry arrows. I don't know if a lot of people are aware of that. I've actually received some DMs lately. Guys are looking for arrows. It's time to set your arrows up and get going. A lot of people don't have this EASTON long range 4mm arrow. We've got some in stock right now. So jump in the goHUNT gear shop, get your arrows right now. Check out this archery equipment that we've got. I've got a whole bunch more in the goHUNT gear shop. Again, if you have questions about any of this or any of the equipment that we carry in the shop, drop it in the comments below. I'd be happy to answer it. It's time to get you both set up and go hunting in the fall.